This episode is brought to you by our friends at Hover, the easiest way to buy domain names and do more with them. Get 10% off today by visiting hover.com/butterscotch. Sean Carruthers from Butterscotch.com here in San Francisco at HP's webOS event. Now you probably know webOS as the operating system found on the Palm smartphone, the Pre. Now Pre and Pre2 have been out using webOS. It's an operating system that up until this point has gotten a bunch of really interested users, but not necessarily a wide install base. They're hoping to change that with a bunch of products that they're announcing here in San Francisco today. So there's going to be 3 new products coming out. First of these is called the Veer. It's a small slider phone, much in the same style as the Pre phones that you've seen up to this point, but a lot smaller. Even though it's physically small, there's an awful lot of functionality packed into the phone that's worth note. First of all, it is a slider phone. It does have a keyboard that slides out and allows you to type on it, unlike the other phones of this size that may only have virtual keyboards. It does come with a full 8 gigabytes of storage on board, so a lot of space for storing information despite the small size. Now on the inside, it's using Qualcomm's Snapdragon processor to keep everything going. And if you're worried about getting data everywhere you go, both on your notebook and on your smartphone, well, the Veer actually does function as a portable hotspot too, so you can get your connection from your cell phone plan and then share it among 5 other mobile devices wherever you go. The next item that they've launched here is called the Pre3. It's a successor to the Pre2, very similar in design again, except a little bit longer than the Veer is. The Pre3 has a 3.6-inch WVGA display on board. Comes with 802.11b, G, and N Wi-Fi networking on board, and Bluetooth. It's expected in summer. Pricing is still to be determined. Now the thing that people are really excited about here is something a little bit bigger. In fact, it's a tablet-sized thing. Not really a surprise. It's been rumored for a little bit, and now it's actually been announced and forthcoming sometime in summer. It's called the TouchPad, and it is using the webOS operating system on board. But unlike these smaller devices that we've seen up until this point, it actually has more screen real estate, obviously for a tablet, that actually allows webOS to really shine, allows you to push more pixels around the screen. Now it comes with a 9.7-inch screen. It's 1024 by 768, so that's on par with the iPad, not really a leap there. It's about 1.6 pounds heavy and 13.7 millimeters thick. Comes with either 16 or 32 gigabytes of storage on board and is powered by a dual-core Snapdragon processor, again from Qualcomm. It's interesting, again, that this is going to dual-core, unlike some of the previous tablets, which were simply a single-core. Going into dual-core means that we're more serious about processing. In fact, we've seen some applications on here at the demo. One of them was a 3D game that actually ran really peppy, and it really showed off the power that's possible when you get a lot of processing power and some good graphics in behind it as well. Now one nice touch on this is the virtual keyboard. Unlike a lot of other virtual keyboards where you either take it or leave it, this one actually comes in different sizes, so you can tap a button to resize it between small, medium, and large. So depending on the size of your fingers or what your comfort level is on typing on a virtual keyboard, you can adjust that to your taste. It also has a row of numbers right along the top, so unlike some other keyboards where you might have to switch between modes over and over again if you're entering mixed data, so like an address, you can actually do it all on the same screen with the keyboard found on the touchpad. Now, if you're familiar with the Pre at all, you know that it charges using something called a touchstone. It uses induction. You just lay the one device on top of the touchstone and it actually does start to charge at that point. This is the same technology that's used now in something called touch to share. Now, what touch to share is when you lay one device on top of another, in this case, your Pre3 on top of your touchpad, you can actually transfer information between the two. So say you have a URL already up on your touchpad and you want to share that with your phone and take that with you, all you have to do is lay the phone on top of your touchpad screen and the information will be sent across to the phone without needing to, say, send it over there. It just automatically goes. Again, although these products were announced today, they're not going to be available until later in the year. The touchpad and the Pre3 will be available sometime in summer. When the touchpad launches, it'll be available in a Wi-Fi version. 3G and 4G versions will be coming out later on in the year. The Veer you'll be able to get your hands on a little bit sooner. That's expected sometime in the spring. For all the information on this, don't forget to check out the show notes for this at butterscotch.com. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Hover, the easiest way to buy domain names and do more with them. Get 10% off today by visiting hover.com/butterscotch.